How's it, guys? I'm Ryan Leroux from the Khusela group of companies, and we've got Morne here today from one of our companies, Black Tar Towing. Morne, how are you doing today?
Good, yourself?
Okay, man. How was your trip up from KZN?
It was rainy, misty.
Hopefully you didn't get involved in any accidents.
No, we got here safely.
Okay, because the last time you did,
Yeah.
you were taking one of the Amaroks down to KZN and you smashed it yourself.
Yeah, no, for sure.
A little bit of a rear end there. Quite unfortunate. Did you have to call one of your super rig trucks to come and pull the Amarok out? Or was the Amarok strong enough to take a beating?
Amarok was strong enough.
So Morne, thanks a lot for joining me on this podcast today, man. I do appreciate your time. I know you guys are heavy busy on the road, specifically in this terrible weather we're experiencing at the moment, but thanks for coming through today. I appreciate you very much.
And your pleasure.
Okay, so who the hell is Black Tar Towing and what the hell do you guys do? Who are you?
We're a towing company only for heavy commercial.
What is heavy commercial?
Trucks, not cars, trucks, machinery,
Buses?
equipment,
Gotcha.
whatever you can think of actually.
Okay, 100%. So you don't do any light vehicle, passenger vehicles
No,
and
we're
stuff
trying
like
to
that?
avoid that industry. It's not our strength.
Okay, fantastic. And going from here down to the N3, how many vehicles have you got available?
In Durban, we're quite strong. Durban, Richards Bay area. We opened a new branch, Harrismith Valleys, up from the Free State. So we're trying to cover the main route to service our clients.
So Morne, let's discuss your industry. Now, I come out of the heavy octane industry myself, vehicles and whatever the case is, and originally from the security side of things, and it's just adrenaline flowing all the time. I'm sure in your business it's also very adrenaline based. I'd love to hear some stories from you as to what you've seen and what happens on the road in the middle of the dark when no one else is around.
So we work day and night all the time. We see the worst, we see funny things, we see people do stupid things, drivers doing the stupidest things you can think of.
So what's the craziest thing you've ever actually experienced on the N3?
You get drivers that go into residential areas to off-hook their trailer to go to the shop with a shebeen. They do stupid things. Sometimes it's unbelievable what a driver can do. People that steal the truck. They drive to somewhere, they park the truck, steal the diesel, steal the tires, they leave it.
And what's one of the funniest things you've ever experienced on the N3?
We attended to an accident on the M7 where a truck was loaded with goats overturned. So the top of the trailer obviously is open on an animal trailer, and all those goats was into like running around free on the freeway.
Well, that's lekker for them, eh? It's
Yeah.
like a cat, they've got more than one life. So did they escape into the bushes there, or they herd them up?
We heard them up, and some of them actually got stolen. People were loading 3-4 sheep and goats in a normal civilian car. Taxis were stopping, loading these sheep and goats inside of the taxi full of people.
Madness. You also told me a story the other day where you actually saw someone looting a vehicle that had overturned and carrying a double-door fridge on his head
Yeah,
at speed.
fridges, beds, you see weird stuff. I mean, I won't put a double fridge on my back and walk with it, but when there's something to be looted, the people do that.
Yeah, the adrenaline's pumping, eh?
They load beds on top of a golf's roof, like they loot the stuff, beers. They just fill up their cars like they don't care.
In seconds.
In seconds, all the time.
How often does this kind of thing happen where a truck overturns and drops a lacquer load, let's call it, of good, high valuable products?
I would say it happens at least twice a week. It just depends what the load is. Sometimes it's controlled, depends where actually the accident happens.
That is very interesting, Morne, that you mentioned it happens twice a week. Are there any syndicates operating that specifically go after these trucks? People that have been stationed along the highways in certain points to get there first to loot the trucks?
I think it's just the way these guys are living next to the freeway. It's out of control because you don't know when a truck's going to overturn. You don't know when someone's going to make an accident.
And
so they're ready.
These trucks that are overturning, are they overturning legitimately from driver error, or is there a possibility that someone's thrown diesel on the road to overturn the truck to loot the vehicle? Is that a possibility?
There has been cases where they place stuff on the roads that they throw the drivers with rocks to make them overturn. It happened to us in the Eastern Cape where they attacked our drivers with stones, bust the windscreen, radiator. So you stop. Once you stop, they loot you.
So that sounds like it's a proper business, a syndicate running around the country where these guys are looting the vehicles but planning to overturn the vehicles.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there any, well, I know you guys do load protection for your particular clients that you contracted to. Just tell me again what load protection is. Let's say I'm driving a 50-ton truck down to KZN and it's full of TVs and it overturns. What is the procedure to get your load protection guys out there?
So we have our client base, the insurance base that's from the area. So if there's a client that phones and says, listen, my truck overturned, it's got a expensive load, please send your response units and your rig as fast as possible. We try to get there to save the load. Sometimes you have 100% loss ratio, sometimes you don't lose anything. So it all depends on the situation.
But those loads are obviously insured.
They're insured till an extent, but also in the end of the day, the transporter takes a knock. So it's not just, oh, it's insured, they must steal it. The customers sometimes are liable or they don't even cover them. So it's a big risk and it's a big factor. I think the problem is people think because it's insured, they can just take it.
So Morne, if I check your trucks out, I've always loved trucks since I was lighty, I must say. I think your trucks really look awesome. They almost remind me of Airwolf, the black helicopter with all the black signage and whatever the case is. They really look good if I compare them to others on the road. Tell me a little bit about your branding on your vehicles and them being so clean in whatever the case is.
So we try to keep our trucks nice and clean because they're always on the roads. We want to be representable to people to see the trucks are clean. And what's better than seeing a nice shiny truck with a lot of lights on?
Absolutely. It's the same as, a plumber comes to your house and he comes in a buggered little 1400 and torn clothes. You don't really want him working in your house.
Yes.
But if he comes with the same 1400 neat and tidy and his tools are packed good, you see him in a different way.
Correct.
So obviously being representable on the road and clean and tidy is very good for your corporate image.
Yes, because and as well, the towing industry doesn't have a good name.
Yes.
We classify as vultures. So for me to put black tar, not to be like them, I need to be a step ahead, not to be brushed with the same brush as a rogue, or I just want to tow your vehicle or your truck or your asset.
Yes.
So
look, I mean,
try.
for me, I understand that, you get good doctors and bad doctors. You get good tow truck drivers and bad tow truck drivers, good security officers and bad. That's how life works. But what are you guys doing differently to your competitors that operate like thugs on the road? What makes black tar towing more legitimate than anyone else on the road?
So I would say it all boils down to branded vehicles, branded staff. You need to be visible. The clients need to know who you are. If someone drives past, they need to know that's a black tar operator or black tar employee. We want to be seen. We want to be different in the no-name brand type of companies.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And tell me something else quite important is the training of your drivers. How do you do the verification, the vetting and the training? How do I know, as someone of the public know, that your guy can pull that truck up the side of a cliff safely without hurting my family further?
So our drivers get the basic rigging training. There's not really a training course you can give a driver and his assistant. It all boils down to experience over the years.
Right.
So, like I said, every day is a different job. You cannot train to put something across the road today and do it the same thing tomorrow morning or later today, because it's not going to work. Each job, each scenario is completely different, but you have to have staff that's trained, like experience-wise, and years. It doesn't just come overnight. Like you can't just put a normal code 14 truck driver in a rig and expect him to do the job, because you'll fail. It needs to be in your blood.
I understand what you're saying. So it's quite specialized. So do you have like a training protocol, a physical test when they come in?
We have smaller recovery rigs.
Okay.
Like a little 8-tonners and for small trucks. So the new drivers and training drivers, we let them do the small stuff, the damaged auction work, stuff like that's already been damaged, to train them and get them to the experience level that we require.
Fantastic. So in other words, all your vehicle drivers are verified to do the job that they're employed to do.
Yes, so there's no jumping around in vehicles. Each driver's got his own tow truck, and he knows the
Okay.
limits of his truck.
So he knows his truck from A to Z.
Correct.
So nothing could have gone wrong from a previous driver, whatever the case.
Yes.
And he's obviously responsible for that rig himself too,
100%.
which makes it easier to manage and maintain that vehicle, surely.
Yes, for damages or cables, chains.
So Morne, we're getting to the end of the podcast. It's been a lekker opportunity to have a good chat to you and understand your business a bit better. One thing I'd like to know is, what is the trickiest, most difficult salvage tow situation you've been involved in at Black Tar Towing?
My most difficult one was a transformer that fell down an embankment. We used 5 rigs to pull this thing out.
Sure.
It took us about 2 days.
And when you say it fell down the embankment, the transformer, did it fall off the back of a truck?
Yeah, it fell off a low bed.
Was it not secured to the low bed?
The ground gave way. So the whole unit actually like overturned in a narrow pathway about 4 meters wide. So we had to build a platform with an excavator for the rigs to park. We had to get the owner of the machine, his engineers, to approve where to hook this thing, because I mean 70 tons. So you can't just like a normal truck just go hook it, pull it over.
Once you recovered it, was it write-off or salvageable?
Yeah, it was a write-off.
It was a write-off.
Yeah.
And how long was that operation, for interest sake?
We did it in 2 days.
2 days.
2 days. So 2 days.
Day and night.
Day and night. We were in the bush. We took our food, got the guys food. We proceeded right through the night, next morning, to get the job done. Because once you're committed to a recovery, you can't stop.
Okay.
If you're halfway up the cliff, you cannot just say, okay, let's carry on tomorrow morning. So however the weather, what you've tired, you need to finish that job. And I think that's what makes us different to all other people.
Is you never give up.
We can't give up.
Well, Morne, that's fantastic, because that's what really makes Black Tar stick out to your competitors. And I think that was the point of this particular podcast, is to legitimize the towing industry through Black Tar Towing. So I appreciate your time today, and travel lekker back to Durban. And to our supporters and the guys watching it, thanks so much for your time. Cheers.